Hey friends, I'm Jamie Maddox, your Wealth Embodiment Mentor. I teach how you are uniquely designed to attract wealth. In this podcast, I talk about body mapping and money. Body mapping is a unique map on your body that gives information, instructions, and direction for you specifically. Each episode, I highlight one area of the body, discuss its features, and more importantly, what that means for you and your money. So welcome. I'm excited to be on this journey together and can't wait to see what your body can teach you about money. Welcome back to another episode. I am so glad you're here. As always, thank you for telling me that this is making a difference in your life, sharing your stories, sharing what it's bringing up, and just talking to me when you see me in person, because I absolutely love it. So thank you. And thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Please continue to do so. Okay, today we are talking about our hands, fingers, knuckles, and fingernails. Okay, so let's be real. This probably needs to be 2 episodes. And we're probably just going to be doing this episode now. And I'm going to do the second part sometime down the road because there are other episodes that are in the queue that I feel really need to happen sooner than later. So let's get started. I am currently 38. And until the beginning of last year, when I was 37, I had never broken a bone. Okay. For all of my many different random, unique health issues, I had never broken a bone, and I was totally okay with that. I was like, I do not need that experience. I am really okay to never understand the feeling and the experience of breaking a bone. Okay, so those of you that have broken bones are probably like, yeah, you don't want to break a bone. And those that haven't broken a bone are like, oh, that's a really great mantra to receive. Yes, do it. Okay, so unfortunately, I broke 2 bones this year, all within a matter of just a few months. And actually, it was the exact same bone, exact same place, exact same way. Okay, so I bet you're a little bit curious. I know, right? Okay, so let me share my story with you. And then we'll get into why it was so significant that I broke this finger, okay? I hope you picked up it would be fingers because it is related, I promise. Okay, so I go to an aerial silks class each week and I absolutely love it. And it is something that I wanted to do for years. And for a lot of years, my body was not strong enough or healthy enough to even go. And so the fact that I have been able to go it's coming on a year that I've been able to go every week, other than when I had my broken fingers, has just been such an incredible and beautiful thing in my life. Okay, so I'd been going to this class for a while. And so for 2 weeks, we'll do a hoops choreography. And then the next 2 weeks, we do a hammocks, which is like the silk hammocks. So 2 very different apparati. I don't actually know the right way to say that, but we learn a choreography. So rather than just learning the moves and learning the different positions and whatnot, we're putting it together with a song, learning how to transition from one to the other, okay? Now, if you don't know, I'm kind of a unique person. So this is the only class I go to. So I learn the moves with the choreography. The teachers are well aware it is a beginner's class, and I do great, so it's not an issue. But some of them kind of chuckle at it because they're like, okay, that's great that this is the only class you go to, right? So we were on the hammocks, and I had done the hammocks before and had not had an issue, but I was newer to the hammock apparatus, okay? So we're doing this, this move, and I was gripping with my right hand, and it was a transition where like your hand did have to kind of slide down the hammocks to get into the new position, okay? So all I remember is that my hand slid down, but it was also kind of, as it was changing positions, my right 4th finger, so my right ring finger got caught just in the tip of the fabric, and I just felt this like pop and like searing pain. Now, I still sometimes struggle to let the pain out in the moment. Okay. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm just going to tell you my inside thoughts. And because I don't know. We'll just tell you where I was at. First off, I was like, how embarrassing. I think I just dislocated my finger. And how did I even do that? And I'm kind of new to this class. And oh my gosh, like I was berating myself. Okay, let's just be real. Okay, so I was not being kind. This is what not to do in this situation. Just putting it out there. This is what not to do. Okay, so I keep it to myself. Number one, I attempt to pop my finger back into place because I think that I just dislocated it. P.S. I didn't. It was broken, and I broke it worse by trying to pop it back into place. And then I continued with the class. Okay, not great ideas. All of them. Okay. So I get home that night. I ice it. I, find a little like brace thingy that I have, whatever. Okay. So a week later, I'm still in massive pain and it's still swollen. Thankfully, okay, so it was during tax season and I was like, oh, I have to be able to use my hands. Like I have to input information and data. Anyway, thankfully I could still use it. I couldn't wear my brace thing while I was working, but it was thankfully I was able to still work without like causing more issues and pain. But I really wanted to go to my class the next week. And I was like, okay, I'm still in a lot of pain and everything that I've researched and done is not working. Maybe I should go to Instacare and just get it checked out. Okay. So yes, you're welcome to chuckle with me at all of this. So I go to Instacare like the hour before my next class. So a week later. And I mean, literally the doctor was kind of like, pretty sure he like took one look at it and was like, well, you probably broke your finger. You probably shouldn't go back this week. And I'm like, but I really want to go tonight. Anyway, long story short, it was broken. It was on the outside of my top knuckle, okay? And it wasn't like a terrible break, but it was definitely broken. So, he told me what to do, blah, 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 whatever. And I did not go to class that night. Thank you. I was wise in that moment. And I didn't go for a few weeks after that because I really was trying to let my finger heal. Okay. So I took the time off and I let it heal. Okay. So then I got to go back and I was so excited, you guys. I was so excited to be back at the class, be doing it. I bought the liquid chalk stuff for my hands so that I would have better grip, especially with the hammocks. And I was ready. So I'd been back about a month. We're back on the hammocks. Okay. So I think I came back when we were doing the hoops. All was well. It was a little tender. So I just tried to be really gentle with my finger, whatnot. Okay. Then we switched to the hammocks. Now, mind you, this was the very end of May, and I was leading a retreat in Fiji the beginning of June, okay? So this all comes to play later. You'll understand why. So I'm at this class, and I am doing a very similar move and transition with my hand, okay? So I'm gripping it with my right hand. I slide it down as I'm adjusting. My ring finger on my right hand gets caught in the fabric and I feel the same pain. You guys, my heart sank. I was like, what the heck? I have never broken a bone and to break the exact same one in the same place. Like, wow. And I really did. I gave it about 2 months. I really did take a long time off of my class because I was like, no, I want it to heal. I want to take care of my body, blah, 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 right? So I don't know if I did much better in the moment. I think I was just mad. I felt so much anger and frustration. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I have to take luggage on this international trip leading women with a broken finger. And mind you, my Fiji retreat is more of like a high adventure. We do whitewater rafting. We do a lot of things out on the ocean. Like it's a very active retreat. Okay. We're waking up all of our senses on that retreat. And so I'll put it out there. Everything worked out. The women were amazing. They helped me with my luggage. I was very gentle with my finger. I also did participate in all the activities. And then I went to a doctor when I came back to maybe get it really checked out. I went to an orthopedic surgeon because I was like, I should maybe just check if this is like a bigger issue than I'm realizing. Anyway, he said it was not. He said it should all heal. I have all the range of motion back. I have taped my finger for every class since then, and I am still able to go. And I've done the hammocks again without any issues. Okay, so why do I share that whole story? Because our hands and fingers are about our connections and our creations. Okay, so the smaller the hands, usually we have smaller projects, more one-on-one working with children. The larger the hands tend to be larger projects, big groups. They are wanting to really build a foundation. Okay. Our fingers are the details. The details of what we're working on are extending ourselves into the world with our creations, with our connections, right? And our fingernails are about protection. And that makes sense. But protecting ourselves in our creations, in our connections while we're extending ourselves into the world. Okay. So I'm going to go over the meaning of each of the fingers. And then again, I'll tie it back to what my breaking of that bone was signifying for me. Okay. So I want you to think about it. Have you ever had any, finger trauma or finger issues? And just kind of think about where it was. Okay. Are you ready to find out what your nose is telling you about your money and your relationship with money? And you want to be on my podcast? Right now, I am offering a free Discover Your Nose session for the opportunity to put that session on my podcast. If you're ready for this life-changing session, go ahead and fill out the form below, and I will be drawing a winner within the next few weeks. I'm excited for you to find out what your nose knows. Our thumb is about our willpower. It's also our connection to our ancestry. Our pointer finger is about our desire to lead, our self-perception, our authority. Our middle finger is about our responsibilities and goals. Now, this one's always very interesting because when you give someone the bird, when you flip them off, at least in the US, we point the middle finger. So it's kind of like saying, I don't really want that responsibility and I'm giving it to you, or I'm not taking on that responsibility, right? So kind of an interesting connection there, right? Our ring finger is about our relationship to ourself and others. And the pinky is about health, imagination, and pretense. So with all of that, it's very interesting. So obviously, I knew that breaking this bone had something to do with the relationship to myself and others. And, it's one of those times where it's like, ooh, is it good to know body mapping or not? Because all my friends that know body mapping, when I told them that I broke my finger, they all just looked at me and I'm like, I know, you guys, I know. And I don't want to go any deeper right now. When I'm ready to look into the deeper, I will go into deeper. And they all would just chuckle. And they'd be like, okay, let us know. Because I knew there was emotional significance in that area. Okay. And it made sense because I was very actively working on my future relationships with myself and with others. And specifically my relationship to men and my willingness to move forward with my dating life, with having a relationship again, all these different things. Okay. So the fact that it was like the very top of my finger and the top knuckle, knuckles are about protection. Well, each of the knuckles have a different meaning. This episode, I'm not going to go into the details of that, but they tend to help with like protection, flexibility, balance, and vitality. So ultimately it was just the tip of the iceberg, because the top of your finger is the tip of the iceberg. And so really my finger was just saying, yeah, you've worked through a lot and you have a bit more to work through. Like this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you get to work on in the next few months, which PS, yeah, there's a reason I'm not sharing this story until now. Just going to put it out there because from the second time that I broke my finger, I have done deep, deep, deep emotional work with this. And has it been easy? No. Has it been absolutely worth it? Yes. And am I starting to see the fruits and the outcomes that I have desired for a long time? Yes. And it is so worth it, and it is so beautiful. It was messy in between. Let's just be real. Okay. So I knew that it was kind of the tip of the iceberg of these different relationships and things that I needed to really work through to be able to move forward in future relationships, right? Okay. So with knuckles, so whenever I try on a ring, it's not what size the ring needs to be, like what size my fingers are. It's like, what size will fit over my knuckles? Okay, I'm sure there are some of you out there that are like, oh, I get it. And others are like, you have to think about your knuckles? Yes. So the more knotty the knuckles, meaning like KNOTTY, naughty. So the bigger the knuckles, the more protective a person is, protective of their creations, their connections. We tend to be a little more guarded, but also very loyal. Sometimes in the shadow, that loyalty can be controlling, but if it's in the light, then it is deep loyalty. Okay. Now, that is so true. I obviously have very naughty big knuckles. And so I am a very protective person of my connections and my creations. They mean deeply, like they are very deeply connected to me, and I care about them very, very much, which is really beautiful, right? And I also get to be very aware of what is worth protecting. What of my creations are worth protecting? So that's what I want you to ask yourself, because as you are creating things and creating new connections, and whether you have a business or not, as you're, bringing in more income or coming up with different ideas, I want you to think about, okay, are my hands smaller or are they bigger? Should my creations be a little bit smaller one-on-one or bigger for large groups? How am I willing to extend myself into the world? Okay, once I create something, how protective am I? Do I need to be protective of this? Because here's the thing, some of our creations don't actually want to be protected. Let me say that again. Some of our creations don't want to be protected. That can be something that's very difficult to accept. And with that, once you do accept it, you actually free yourself up from putting energy where it's not needed or necessary. And you also allow your creation to have the freedom to live their own life and their own journey. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that you just say, oh, I can't do anything to protect anybody or any of my creations. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that there comes a time where what we're trying to do can actually hinder people's progression, and specifically sometimes our children's progression, if we are too protective, if we don't let them fly and have their own journey. Okay. And it also holds us back because our energy and effort is going into something that they don't even want. And maybe it's not the protection or the type of protection that they need. It's just what we wish someone would have done for us. Okay. Again, I'm going to say that one again also. Sometimes the reason that we are so protective of our creations is because we so wish that someone would have protected us in that way. And that's where you get to be really, really loving and kind to yourself, and especially your inner child. And you get to say, oh, sweetheart, you're right. We wish someone would have shown up for us this way. We wish someone would have protected us. We wish all of these things. And I'm going to do it for you now because I'm the adult now. I'm the one that can protect you, and I'm the one that will protect you. And X, Y, and Z is no longer going to happen to us because we're not in that situation. We're older, and I'm going to protect you. And then it allows you to progress, and it allows your creations to progress and have their own journey. And again, I'm not saying that any of this is necessarily easy. It doesn't have to be hard, but it's not always easy. But it is worth it, and you can do it, and you can release the connections and creations that you need to, and you can choose which ones you hold on to, because that's also another thing with our hands is that what are we holding on to? What are we grasping? What are we not willing to release and let go of? And what are we actually wanting to hold on to? With all of this can be related to our wealth, our money, our health, our relationships. Because again, all of that is wealth. So what of your creations are producing the results that you desire and that you want and are worth your energy, time, effort, and protection, and which ones are not? And this is a beautiful time to release and let go of those things that are not continuing to create healthy connections and creations. And it's a beautiful time to say, actually, this is, and to make those choices and to say, I am committed to this, and I'm seeing that this is where I want to go. And this is how I want to bring money into my life. This is how I want to bring relationships into my life. This is how I'm willing to put myself into the world and to show up and to give the details, give the creations, give the protection, and do all these different things because our hands are so beautiful. And I want you to think about it. It's the holiday season. So tends to be, a lot more parties and, family things and friend things and all these different things. Pay attention when you shake someone's hand. What are the sensations that you feel when you shake that person's hand? Does it feel safe in your body? Does it feel like a connection that you want to have? Is it someone that you've known a long time? How does it feel? Even if you've known them a long time, what is the actual sensation in your body when you shake their hand? Okay. When you have that connection, when you're putting yourself out there and you are making that connection, how does that feel for you? And let it be information, because with information, you can make better choices for you. You get to make the choices for you, and your body is speaking to you all the time. And it is so ready to let you up level your connections, your creations, and to bring more goodness into you, bring more wealth to you, bring more love and joy and happiness and money and health. All of it is ready, willing, and wanting to come to you. And it's your time to reach out your hand to receive it and to accept it and help create it. So enjoy this week, my friends, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. Make sure to check back each week for the newest content about your body and your wealth. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends and give it a 5-star review. Make sure to visit healinghopewithjamie.com for new offers, retreats, and ways to embody your wealthy life.